The way the volleyball and football organizations have promoted women's volleyball and women's football in the country proves that the profile of the various sports disciplines here can also be raised to a level that they could capture their own dedicated audience. Women's volleyball, both in the schools and professional level, is now more popular, at least in the number of people drawn to the sport, than men's basketball. The Philippine Basketball Association, or PBA, can no longer draw crowds bigger than what women's volleyball can draw. But there was a time when all that the Filipinos were watching was men's basketball. The PBA is a professional league and its players were paid well. But now, Filipino hoopers look for other leagues in Asia where the players are paid better. Kai Soto and the others now play in Japan where they are paid better compared with those playing in local basketball leagues. Volleyball in the Universities Athletics Association of the Philippines, or UAAP, is attracting crowds that now rival men's basketball in the schools. Women's volleyball stars like Alyssa Valdez, Gemma Galanza, Cici Rondina, and Dena Wong have become popular. Tournaments like the Premier Volleyball League were created as a result of volleyball's resurgence in the country. Not to be outdone, football, first with the men's and later with the women's, have gotten popular also. Men and women's football became high profile at the national level with the entry of more field foreigners who were trained by teams and honed in tournaments in advanced football-loving countries in Europe and the United States. Sadly, the profile of women's basketball in the country is in tatters. In the UAAP, it is the men's teams that are dominant in schools. With the rise of women's basketball in the US, the profile of women's basketball in the country is still low. Can the basketball organization in the country change the setup and raise the profile of women's basketball in the Philippines? It can, and sadly, it must follow the path taken by women's volleyball and women's football. First, it must attend to the organizational problems of women's basketball. The Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas, or SBP, needs to work with the heads of colleges and universities and encourage them to form women's basketball teams. The UAAP must then breed a healthy competition between women's basketball teams formed in the colleges and universities throughout the country. Admittedly, it is still difficult to build women's basketball teams, but through perseverance and scouting, heads of colleges and universities can eventually do it. With the rise of women's basketball in other countries, because of the Caitlin Clark effect, a pool of Filipino women hoopers can eventually develop. Scouts can go to Europe, the United States, even Africa and other countries to develop a pool of field foreigners who can be offered scholarships in local colleges and universities to play in their teams. Sooner or later, women's basketball stars will be produced at the national level and lead a resurgence of women's basketball in the country. Thank you.